everybody. Good evening and welcome to the late night review. I figured that I might as well do a movie review once in a while, once in a blue moon. Might not be all the time, depends on how many views I get. But why not do one once in a while since since I started my channel, I'm always talking about how certain movies influenced my art, how they were a big influence on certain paintings, certain pieces that I've done. So why not do a review once in a while? I think it'd be kind of fun. And so once in a blue moon, I might drop one on the channel here and there. And tonight, I'm going to talk about a movie that I enjoy a lot. I don't think it's been given enough credit. Red Sonja. I think this is a great movie. I think this is it's grossly underrated sometime. And I think that looks like the talisman looks like we had a little shaking there. The talisman was being used by Queen Gedrin. But anyway, I think that this movie is very entertaining. I love Conan. I love Conan Part 2, Conan the Destroyer. This movie is not as dramatic, it's not as disturbing and dramatic as Conan 1, that's for sure, but it's entertaining. And if you just think about it, it's got a little bit of a faster pace, maybe even a significant amount faster pace than the first Conan. It's meant to be entertaining and fun, sword and sandal, wizardry. It's supposed to be that kind of movie. Anyone who takes this movie, I think, too serious is kind of missing the point a little bit, in my opinion. I think that this movie is meant to be fun, an adventure, action. It's got some comedy. Ernie Reyes Jr. does a great job. Great martial artist. His dad trained him since he was a kid, very small kid. He trained him and his father, great martial artists. I think the choreography in this movie is really good too. And I think sometimes Ernie steals the show. Well, I've always loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have a lot of nostalgia for him and his movies. I grew up watching his movies and always enjoyed them. I think Brigitte Nielsen does a really good job in here. In the supporting cast too, Sandel Bergman, Paul Smith. Paul Smith, I believe, was in Popeye. He played Brutus. Sandel Bergman was in Conan, the original Conan, did a great job in there. And Pat Roach, I think Pat Roach is really a good actor, very interesting. I think the characters that he plays often are very interesting. He usually plays the big guy, Ford. Harrison Ford has to fight at the end of Indiana Jones movies. And I think one of the best characters is Toth Amon, brought to life by Pat Roach in Conan the Destroyer. In fact, my favorite sequence in Conan the Destroyer is the ice castle on the lake where Pat Roach is the wizard. I think he does a great job. The colors are great. I love red. I think my favorite color since I was a kid was red. Others too, red, colors of Superman, because I love Superman, so his colors. But I notice in Red Sonja, they use a lot of red colors. The costumes, the outfits, the castle, Queen Gedrin's castle. I like the story. I think it's interesting. I think that if you haven't seen it and you like movies that are fun, sword and sandal type oriented movies, if you like the Beastmaster, I think you'll enjoy this one. It's an adventure. I think that it's, like I said before, it doesn't get nearly the credit it deserves. And then the great music. Ennio Morricone, the great composer, does a great job. I love the music in here. He did Clint Eastwood westerns. He did Once Upon a Time in the West, I believe. Hope I'm getting that right, but he did such a good job. And I think the music in this movie is really good too. And to me, it's fascinating that Richard Fleischer is a great director. He directed Red Sonja, but he also directed Mr. Majestic with Charles Bronson. He directed Tora, Tora, Tora. He directed The Vikings with Kirk Douglas, one of my all-time favorite movies. He directed Soylent Green with Charlton Heston. Just to me, he's a great director, and you can see his style all over this movie. When you see the Vikings in this movie, you can see similarities. I think the music is actually similar to the music in the Vikings, even though I believe it's a different composer, but I'm pretty sure of that. But I think it's really a good movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. I have my copy right here, already on top of it. I've had this for a while. And I have this one. Not all the movies that I'll be reviewing I actually have, but I do have this one. And I don't know how many of these videos I'm going to do. It just depends on how many views I get. I'll probably put them on the channel once in a blue moon. But tonight, it's Red Sonja, and I think you should check it out. I think it's a fun movie. I think the art direction is good. And another thing is, too, the sky in here is sometimes overcast. They don't go for the crystal clear blue sky on every scene. Sometimes you'll see movies that just go for one type of sky. And I notice these things because I'm an artist. I look at colors. Sometimes I won't like a movie just because of the art direction or because of the style. I won't get into it. It won't connect with me. But this movie here, this movie does connect with me. There's certain movies that do connect with me. So the rewatchability for me in this movie is kind of through the roof. I mean, there's rarely a time where I don't feel like watching this movie. Sometimes it happens, but rarely where I don't feel like watching it. But to me, it's just really a good movie. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. And that's the late night review. And I hope I did a little bit of a justice for this movie. I think it deserved it. It's underrated in my book. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So like and subscribe and share this video. And good night, everybody. This has been the first installment of the late night review.